Why they? Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're just going to give it a minute before we make a start to let everyone who's signed up to log on. I think we've got over 60 people expected today, Hannah. So we'll give them a little bit of, just a moment so that they can all log in. We've got lots of people starting to flood in already.
Yeah, that's great. I always like to remind people that we can't actually see you. So if you're at home in your pajamas, that's totally fine.
I may or may not be wearing my yoga trousers. It's hard to, especially if you've got the one of those design backgrounds up, you could be anywhere.
Could be anywhere, not just my kitchen.
That's right. I think we've got quite a few people logging in already.
Yeah, it's great to see so many people. Welcome to everyone. Very warm welcome.
Might just give it a little bit longer before we make a start. I feel like it's already starting to get a bit dark.
No, it's sad, isn't it?
It's not even 4 o'clock. I can feel it getting darker. Like my room feels brighter with the.
Yeah, I turned the lights on for the for this session so everyone can see me. Should we kick off and then we can catch up anyone who joins later?
That sounds good. Welcome again, everyone, to Peabody's Online Jobs and Apprenticeships Fair. We're just going to make a start now and welcome to our session. It's Tech and Digital Careers with Generation. I'm Yvonne and I work for Peabody, but I'm joined today by Hannah Matthews, who will be delivering today's session. Just for you to note, the event today is being recorded and will be made available on Peabody's YouTube channel. So you just need to go to YouTube and search Peabody London, and we'll have all of the sessions up by tomorrow afternoon. Then we'll hear from Hannah before we open up for Q&A. So if you've got any questions, just drop them into the Q&A box at the very bottom of your screen, and we'll try to get through as many as we can towards the end of today as well. There's a chat function for you to leave any comments as well. And before we start, I'd particularly like to welcome any Peabody residents who have joined us, and would like to remind you that we actually have a free one-to-one career service that's completely free for any Peabody resident. You can get help with improving your CV, job search, being able to job search better, using LinkedIn, how to write cover letters, or preparing for an interview. All you need to do is go onto our website and search employment and fill out the form, and one of our caseworkers will contact you. So I'll hand over now to Hannah to kick off.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. So very warm welcome to all of you joining today. So I'm Hannah. I'm a senior program manager at Generation. And what that means is that I am responsible for supporting applicants throughout the process when you are applying, to make sure you know which program will be the right kind of fit for you to apply for, and also importantly, how to make your application stand out if you do make an application with us today. So today I'm going to talk to you about Generation, who we are, some of the live courses that we have, and how we can help you to launch a career with a free training bootcamp. So before I explain more about what Generation do, I wanted you to hear a little bit about it from our learners in their own words.
Let me see. I would say, for starters, I wish I knew about Generation a lot earlier, but
Generation is a bootcamp experience where you really intensively learn the skills that you need in order to succeed in the business.
A lot of the stuff you learn, you'll find, don't just apply to the work and the studying. It's also stuff you can take outside of that and then apply to your own life.
And then when you're matched with different employers at the end to try and get as many people as possible into long-term work as quickly as possible. And then there's also support from mentors.
I didn't realize I needed a mentor until I got a mentor, if that makes sense.
The instructors and mentors were really good as well. The instructor, he was just really fun and just quite a really relatable person as well.
There were lots of amazing moments in terms of just laughing.
It felt like just a big family.
From the moment I met all my teammates and my instructor, and it felt like a family, like a group of friends that I knew I'd have for a long time.
We struggled together, we learned together, we had challenging times together, uncertain times together. But in the end, many of us right now are reaping the benefits.
I would say Generation is life-changing.
If I could recommend it to everyone, I would.
So that's a snapshot in the words of our alumni, but who are we, to explain it in a bit more detail? So Generation is a global organisation and we exist to solve unemployment, full stop. We exist because there are lots of employers who are looking for talent and they simply cannot find people to fill the jobs in their industry. And then we meet people every day who might be like yourselves on this call, and you have loads of potential, you're definitely willing to work, but you haven't yet had access to these opportunities. And you might have heard the phrase before when people say, you need to get your foot into the door before you can climb the career ladder. But what are you meant to do if you don't know anyone in that industry? So how can you do that? So Generation fills that gap by offering people free training boot camps and also connecting you with hiring employers who can then meet with the talent that they need to fulfill their business needs. So if you like data, here's some key information about us on this slide. Generation was started in 2015. We've been in London for 3 years now. We've supported 40,500 people into jobs across the 14 different countries that we work in. We've got really high success rate too. So 97% of our people graduate from our courses who are learners, and 85% are in full-time work after 3 months of completing the course. And the rest of that 15%, we continue to support them until they do find work. So we work specifically to target groups as well who are not currently represented by the industry. So for example, women or ethnic minorities have a very low representation of less than 20%, just 20% in the tech sector. And we really want to diversify the industry. And our programs can help with that by providing an alternative route to education. So we take people with zero experience. It doesn't matter what your work experience has been before, regardless of your qualifications. And we train them up on our free boot camps, and then we connect you with hiring employers. So here's a snapshot of some of the employers who have hired our graduates in the past. So real range of organizations. And in terms of our programs, they range from hospitality to healthcare, lots of tech programs. And our model is always based on what we call employer demand. So what we do there is we assess where we can have a real impact and support people into future-proof and importantly, fulfilling careers. So our largest focus at the moment is closing the digital skills gap through technology programs. So we have data engineering, you can see here, cloud computing run with Amazon Web Services, got a software engineering bootcamp that I'll talk about today, data analytics, and soon IT support. And also we are the first provider to deliver a green jobs program, which will be training our learners to become retrofit advisors. We also have a standalone employability program called Career Support, and that can help you with everything from kind of CV workshops, mock interviews, and preparing you to go and get one step further to your dream career. So I'm going to talk a bit about these programs. Sorry, the graphic's so bad actually today. Normally it isn't like that. So we're going to talk a bit about these courses that we have recruiting live. But before I go into that, like, what does Generation offer you? Does it sound a bit too good to be true? Maybe, but it's not. And this is the reason why. This is what our core offer is. And I want to frame this as well by saying that Generation programs are always free to our learners, but we have lots of charities and organizations, for example, the European Social Fund, who fund our courses, which mean that it is free to our learners. And we also have corporate investment too. So number one, programs are always free to you if you are one of our learners. We support you with a mentor during the program and for 6 months after the program. That same mentor is the person who meets you in the application process, finds out how we can support you. Along the way on your journey is there to help you with kind of motivation, soft skills development, employability, and they will be with you after the course when you graduate to support you making your transition into the workplace. So if you have a difficult conversation with your manager, if you want to ask for a pay rise, the mentor is there. You have a point of contact with it, and you can continue to ask for advice there. All of our courses right now are delivered fully remote, so on Zoom. If you don't have access to a laptop or Wi-Fi at home, we can provide you with that. Also, importantly, if you don't live in a space where you have somewhere that you could work, if you don't have a desk and a chair or space for that, that's totally fine. And we can provide you with an office space for the duration of you joining the program. And we will pay for your travel and for your lunch as well if you are going to one of our offices for the day. So we try and remove as many barriers as possible for you to complete the course successfully. Also, if you are a learner on one of our programs and you are currently receiving benefits, for example, universal credit, you will continue to receive those throughout your time on the Generation program. And that's really important because we've got a partnership with DWP. And then to talk a bit more about how effective our programs are. So we connect our graduates with employers who are hiring at the end of the course. How that works is we bring in some people who want to hire exclusively from this program. They present to you on what the opportunities are, and then you make a selection of where you want to interview. A point that I want to talk about here is activity mapping. So Generation programs are not ones that you just find off the shelf. They're not kind of your average bootcamp that you may have come across online before. We do a whole process called activity mapping, which really sets us apart. That means that we go and we spend time with employers who are hiring from this program, and we get their feedback on what they want us to teach people on the program. And then we actually spend about 100 hours interviewing people in that role and observing, are they doing meetings? Are they doing presentations? Are they working with clients? What kind of technology are they using? How do they share information with their team? And then we build our curriculum back from that. So that means that every time you are on the cohort and you're doing a role play, it is based from a real life scenario, which really sets you up for success in the workplace. Another really unique thing is that we acknowledge that people who are coming onto our programs may have been out of work for a little while, or you may never have had a job before. And that's completely fine, because we will teach you not only the technical skills, but importantly as well, the behaviors and mindsets to set you up for success. So we spend a lot of time, particularly at the beginning of the program, building this foundation to give you the confidence to go into the workplace and learning things like personal responsibility, timekeeping, perseverance. One we talk about all the time is called growth mindset as well. So if you are struggling with something on the course, how can you see it as an opportunity for growth and learning rather than a blocker to your success? So those are the kind of things that we love to hear our learners talking about when they graduate from the program. And of course, the employability skills are really key to helping you succeed in the application and for your interview. So I can see people putting some things in the chat, and we'll come back to questions at the end. So to share a bit of a snapshot, a window into one of our courses. So this is a recent software engineering bootcamp that graduated. You can see some information about how the cohort is made up. In terms of like diversity, it's really important to us to be bringing a very diverse cohort of people from different backgrounds, different experiences, to be able to come together and learn and share their knowledge and experiences. In terms of the core requirements to come onto our programs, all of our courses are for people 18 plus. Some of our courses have an age cap on them. And when I explain in the next couple of slides what that is, I will explain it's based on our funders. So we only get money to deliver programs to specific ages on certain courses. You cannot be in education, employment, or training right now. If you are working, the only time you could be working is on a 0 hours contract. And also important that you live in a London borough. So to show you now a bit more about the courses that we are recruiting for right now. So as I said at the beginning of this, I'm going to introduce you to where we have done our research, which shows us that the careers that are most in demand right now. So learning these skills now is going to set you up for having a very future-proof career. There is a lot more information that we can share on our website, but because I've only got just under 10 minutes left to go, we are going to give you a real snapshot into what our courses are. And then you can learn a bit more about them. You can ask questions and everything like that. So if you've been listening to the news this week, maybe you have, you will know that the hottest topic right now for everyone, everywhere, is the environment. So one of the roles that we have that we've explored that has the highest impact for supporting our transition to net zero in the UK is becoming a retrofit advisor. So Generation are the first provider in the UK to do this. And this course will teach you everything you need to learn to launch your career in this sector. So over the course of 10 weeks, all of our programs are full-time, 9 to 5. You will learn a real blend of customer service, technical skills, and also some of this core understanding to work in the green sector. So you'll be learning things like grant applications, property assessments, compiling pricing quotes, interpreting energy performance. All of these things are the kind of core day-to-day of what someone in this role would do. Essentially, what we are training you to do is to be able to go into a property. It could be someone's home, it could be a residential building, and to train you up to retrofit to advise on what the kind of accommodations you could make to make that home more energy efficient. So a lot of housing associations are doing this at the moment. A lot of organizations are realizing that they have to do this in order to meet their requirements and come down to net zero. So that's one program in one sector that we offer. Another kind of changing direction a little bit is talking about going into more tech programs. So we do a lot of tech programs here at Generation, and the reason behind that is that there is just so much demand for them in the market. So what makes data a really valuable career to learn about is that data is a decision-making process. If you have data backing behind things, it could be launching a new product, determining what kind of TV series will work best for a specific channel, even setting a strategy to manage the global pandemic. Data is behind all of this. So a data engineer, we run a course in this, would basically create, I imagine it as a kind of massive marble run. They create the architecture that allows the data to flow through it, and they present that to the data analyst. The data analyst can then use this to make business decisions. So over the course of 12 weeks, you can right now be thinking, I'm not really sure what data analytics is. I don't really know that much about data. We will teach you everything you need to know. So fundamentally, we teach you about data quality management. So that's cleaning and processing data, some more technical things with querying databases using some programming languages. It's a very creative course as well. So data analysts, they would be using platforms like Power BI or Tableau to create visualizations that represent the data in a way that other people can digest it. So as an analyst, you're really kind of bridging the gap between the deep tech and the data engineers, and also the people using that at the front end of your business and organization. We'll teach you all of the numerical literacy, critical thinking. You'll learn about building a data pipeline, analyzing data. We will teach you all of this, as well as some specific technologies. So this program is funded by Microsoft, as well as the European Social Fund. And the age cap on this one is 18 to 29. So we will, right now we were understanding what qualification you will gain at the end of this. And this program starts in January 2022. The next one to talk you about starts just in over a week time on the 22nd of November. It's called the Tech Talent Accelerator Program. It is a 6-week pre-apprenticeship bootcamp. So if you think software engineering could be interesting for you and you want to pursue a apprenticeship, then you must email me and I'll share my details at the end, because we're moving people super fast through this process because we're in the final days of selection. But I wanted to share it with you now. Over the course of 6 weeks, you will learn HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, which are specific programming languages. You will then learn on this program how to build applications, so apps, how to build websites, and whether that's kind of the front end, doing the more design of it, the back end, doing the more kind of how the function of the website works, or learning how to do all of it. And this takes you into a level 4 apprenticeship with Multiverse. So you're looking at a starting salary between £18,000 and £35,000, and some of the employers in this past cohort have been Facebook, Salesforce, local councils. There's a huge range of different employers that we work with here. IT support is the next one that follows on for our tech programs. So in the course of 12 weeks, we will teach you how to diagnose, troubleshoot, and resolve any kind of hardware or software issues. So hardware meaning related to the actual physical machine or the equipment that you're using, your printer or whatever that is. And then software is how the computers will communicate to one another. So there'd be kind of different focus of events of things that you'd be solving there. We teach you everything from ticket management, communication, customer service. There's a lot of that in there. So if you're interested and you're generally interested in tech, but you're not sure that you want to be an analyst, for example, or a software engineer, this gives you a really well-rounded introduction into a career in tech. And your career in IT support really can launch you into many different opportunities in the tech sector later down the line. This program launches in February 2022, and you have to be over 18, but we don't have a cap on this at the moment. And at the end of this program, you will have gone through the process to gain an industry recognized qualification with the Service Desk Institute. That's a bit about that one. Now, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to run you through what an online recruitment process would look like for you at Generation. So number one thing you would do, if you're interested in one of our programs, you would go onto our website and register your interest. When the program is receiving applications and is live, then we will send you a short application form to complete, which will check your eligibility. We'll also ask you to upload some documents. And the reason that we do that is for our funders, we have to prove that you are who you say you are, and that you meet those criteria in terms of not working, where you're living, and things like that. Then we'd ask you to do an online task. So this could be a logic-based task where you'd be looking for patterns and sequences, or it could be something a bit more like we give you an example and we want you to reply to a customer email, things like that. It varies from program to program. Then we would invite you along to an information session. That would be a little bit like this. We bring along a lot more different speakers. So we would have our graduates speaking about their experience on the course. We have employers. We have people working in that specific role that you're applying for. We give you a whole load of information about the course. This process is also for you to get to know what the program's about a bit better, to get to know Generation, and to really feel that confident in the fact that you're making a decision that is affecting your future. So you need to feel completely happy that this is the program for you. Then we do an online interview with you. So it's a little bit that we do in a group where you do something like pretending you're on a desert island. What would you bring? It's really for you to have a sense of what the classroom environment could be like on Zoom, and also for us to learn a bit more about you and your natural communication style. And then you do a one-to-one interview to find out about your motivation for applying. And then afterwards, we would send you an offer for the program if you are successful. But if we don't feel it's quite the right time for you, then we would ask you to reapply, and we would redirect you to our 1-month careers coaching service. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, it's really built to set you up for success and take one step further towards launching your career. And it can be very tailored to what you want. So CV writing, technical interviews, non-technical interviews, support with mock interviews, all of these kind of things that works around you. And there's lots of online content that you can follow along here too. And then the final thing that I'm going to speak through today is in terms of next steps. So if you've sat on this call and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, this could be something that I'm interested in. First of all, you're very welcome to get in touch with me to find out a bit more information. I know I've run through this really quickly, but here's some kind of key buckets on how you can actually progress your interest. Number one would be check out our Generation program. You can go to our website, you can apply for our live programs, and you can register your interest for future programs. So we also have an events page where recently we've run an event, for example, called Show Me the Data, which is where we had a panel of data engineers and data analysts talking about what they do day to day and doing some presentations that they've showed. So that's another way that we try and explain what a career in the sector could look like, and we can share lots of things with you. Anyone's welcome to join those events. Then if you wanted to apply for a program, we also have a quiz called Where Do I Belong in Tech? So that's if you think you're interested in tech, but you're not 100% sure where this will lead for you. We've got some resources on our website as well, like this screen grab here, that shows you kind of the direction you could go based on your kind of natural skill set. And then also we encourage you to explore your career options. So every Wednesday we have a drop-in career session. We would encourage you to learn from people in the industry on social media, on LinkedIn, watch YouTube videos, and importantly, to get involved and to start trying some coding. So we have loads of resources on the website for you to go and do that. And if you're interested in one of the programs, then we will share again with you how you can start exploring your coding journey. And I would just finish this off by saying that at Generation, we are looking for people with potential over perfection. If you were already a perfect software engineer, for example, you wouldn't need to come onto one of our boot camps. We are specifically looking to support people who have been struggling to break into a sector that they are interested in or may never have had that opportunity beforehand. And we will work with you to develop all of the skills that you need to succeed and thrive and really enjoy your future career. So I'm going to stop there. I appreciate I've gone through a lot of information in quite a short period of time, but I'd love to open the floor up to questions, and Yvonne, you can see some of those as well.
Yes, thank you, Hannah. So I've got 5 minutes left. We'll just see if we can blitz through these questions. Alan's asked, I'm interested in cybersecurity, ethical hacking, penetration testing, etc., but don't have any experience in this field. I do have some IT skills, mostly around MS Office. What would you advise Alan in this situation?
So Alan, we don't run anything specifically in cybersecurity, but what I'd recommend that you take a look at is maybe our website. Do that Where Do I Belong in Tech quiz, The most kind of related one that we have on cybersecurity would be our AWS Restart program, which will launch again next year. So that does focus on some of the programs that Amazon Web Services delivers that actually involve cybersecurity. The other thing you could think about is, do you want to become a data analyst or a data engineer at a cybersecurity company? Because of course, lots of companies have all these range of organizations. So do you actually want to be doing the cybersecurity, kind of that element of things? Or would you just want to work in that industry? Because you can build up a lot of skills by working in a technical or a non-technical role, but learning about that industry by being in a company that does that.
Great point. Nathaniel's just asked us to put the Generation website into the Q&A box. We can actually put that into the chat box, Nathaniel, which one of my colleagues will do now. So you can find it in there. We've got someone here asking about the employers that you work with, and I think I'll do two questions together, and how you actually help learners to find jobs after they finish a course.
Yeah. So as I showed you, and we will share these slides afterwards as well, so you can have another look at some of those key employers that we work with. In terms of how we support people to find jobs, we have a team who is specifically dedicated to partnerships and employer partnerships. So while you're on the program, they're busy in the background creating these relationships that people want to hire 1, 5, 10 people from the program. Then at the end of the program, we bring in a selection of employers who are going to hire from the cohort, and they would present what their company does, what jobs are available, and you can ask them any questions that you want. And then you make a short list of which companies you want to go for an application with, and then we connect you so then you have an interview. In terms of the actual employability support, we teach you all of the things that you will need to know for success in both a competency and a technical interview during your time at Generation. And once you have graduated from the program, we also have a graduate hub where we have our qualified career coaches continue to support and develop you until you have found that job. And as I said as well at the beginning, in terms of your mentor stays with you for 6 months after the program too. So you can continue to check in with them and have support from them. Hopefully that answers the question.
No, that was great. Thank you. Someone else has asked that they're interested in software engineering. However, I turned 25 just the other week. Is it a hard cap or is there some flexibility?
Unfortunately for that course, because it is a pre-apprenticeship, it's a hard cap at 24. We are looking at running a software engineering bootcamp next year, which doesn't have an age cap on it. But I'd say maybe if you're interested in software engineering, you could also think about pivoting that bit. Would you be interested in data engineering? I mean, it's still fundamentally engineering. You're just using really different programming languages. So that's something to think about. If not, then I'd recommend that you sign up to register your interest on our website. And then when we do have those programs go live, we can let you know. There are also other providers who do software engineering bootcamps that don't directly lead into an apprenticeship. So you could take a look online, have a Google of those as well, which doesn't have an age cap.
Perfect. Do you host any in-person sessions or open days?
Right now, everything is still online. The reason that is often we will run cohorts where we have people from our different regions in the UK joining into those sessions. If there was a specific reason or need that you needed to have a one-to-one session with someone, then we could speak to you about that.
That's fine. Look, Anna, we probably haven't got time to finish all of the remaining questions. I just wondered, for anyone that's got a really specific question, what would be the best way to get that answered? Is it to contact you directly?
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, read back through the slides or have a look on our website. If you don't know the answer, you can't find the answer, then I'm happy to for people to just email me directly.
Sure. So we'll leave, if you leave your email in the chat box, and we'll also include that in the slides as well when we upload these to our website. But yeah, perhaps one last one, will you be implementing new programs in the future, for example, digital marketing?
So digital marketing, we have decided not to do at this time. The reason being that we don't see that there is a big enough need for the employer demand, but also for us to meet a need of people going into that sector. So there are other routes that you can access a job in digital marketing. So it's not something that we're currently doing.
Sure. Well, thank you, Hannah. I'm just having a browse through the other questions. I think some of those you've answered already in your slides. But as Hannah's explained, if you do have any other specific ones and would like to contact her directly, we'll leave her contact details on the presentation. But thank you so much today, Hannah. That was really interesting about all the different courses and pathways.
Yeah, very welcome. And I've just tried to answer a couple of questions as well on that I've just written in here as well.
Great. Thanks everyone for joining us. Just so don't forget, we've also got 10 more sessions tomorrow. All of those you can register via our Eventbrite link. So it's how you would have registered for our session today. So do have a browse because there's quite a few more tech and digital focused sessions tomorrow as well. But thank you.
Bye. I'm just trying to write one thing here for Steph.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'll leave it on there. So it's hannah.matthews@generation.org as well.
Yeah.
But again, we'll have that information on the slides when we share those on our website.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.